everyone? It's your boy Teaspoon back with another episode of Teaspoon of Wisdom. My main man, Westside, is not here today. But as you can see, the working man's Gatorade. This is an episode 4. Just reacting to the Trump and Harris debate. This is going to be really, really fun tonight. I wonder how many insults are going to be slung back and forth. Excuse my bad language. My poor grammar. I'm sorry. Whatever that is. But right now, just waiting for this debate to come on to see what's next. We saw Trump versus Biden before Biden dropped out. Something I called a long time ago because Biden was too out of it. Kind of dealing with dementia, whatever he had going on. So now we got Vice President Harris. So let's see what is going to go down with this. I think people already know where me and Westside, what we align at, and how we get down with this whole thing. Anybody can let me know if somebody can hear me. Cool. My wife is right here beside me. She's baking our baby. God bless. God bless our little one, Tristan Witherspoon. Can't wait to meet your kid, along with her older brother, Thomas Witherspoon III, or better yet, we call him Bub. I love my kids, love my family. That boy's in there clapping right now. He will not go to sleep. Boy's wild, man. But kids, that's kids for you. But Trump versus Harris is going to be really interesting tonight. I hope that with these same rules, hopefully they'll be applied somewhat remotely fairly, and somewhat close to each other, and to understand you want to hear both candidates talk about policy. No twerking, policy. No Meg Thee Stallion, no Quavo, no who else did they throw up there, babe? I don't know. Too many celebrities to count. Too many just Oprah. Too many crooked people. But nonetheless, yeah, going to be really, really interesting tonight. As my boy Trump talks with his hands, he talks with his hands. Yeah. So you got big guy Chris Christie on there. My man needs to lose some weight, bro. He got a triple, double, quadruple chin, bro. That is not a good look. That is not P. These are some of the swamp creatures that tell us, hey, nothing's wrong, or Trump is a bad guy or whatever. But this man has a quadruple chin. So this is ridiculous. Look at this man's chin. It is hanging over his coat, over his shirt. This is ridiculous. Look at that shirt. Excuse me for a second. Okay, sorry about that. Had to get some dad straightening going on. But nonetheless, who is this lady? We want to hear policy, Kamala. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce her name? Is it Kamala? Okay. Well, Vice President Harris. We want to hear policy from you. Nothing more, nothing less. What are you going to do to fix this dumpster fire that you guys have had for 3.5 years? And for 3.5 years, inflation has been through the roof. What else? Inflation, the border from uh, now now we got so-called immigrants eating cats in Ohio. I don't know if that's verified, but that is a really creepy thing. Um, yeah, it's just a bunch of issues. Well, let's look at some of the let me see, let me pull this up. Harris website. Let's look at some of the policies. Got Kamala Harris for president. Let's see. Yep, so let's present this. All right. Nah, I ain't trying to subscribe to that. But let's check out her policies. Miss Harris's policies. Mrs. Harris policy. Still no policy. Not a lick of policy. But asking for money. This is some treacherous work, man. This is treacherous. This is meet Kamala Harris. That's her mom, the red dot Indian lady. Nothing against Indians or whatnot, but she ain't black. Black people do not wash their collard greens in bathtubs. That's nasty. That's nasty. But no policy, no policy. Reproductive rights, uh, deletion of kids. Let's just go ahead and keep it a buck. Nothing, nothing. Her husband, who is a Jewish man, wild. But she tells you she's not the first black American. She's not black. Her father was Jamaican. That's Jamaican is not black. Stop playing with me. But her husband, who has children from a previous marriage, now they are. She's running on the platform of reproductive freedom, deletion of kids. But she's running on that platform, but she's raising, but majority of black people, black women are deleting kids by the droves, but white kids can be born. I don't know if that's the most racist thing I've ever heard or seen in my lifetime. So delete black kids, but raise white kids. All right, cool, got you. So these black babies aren't good enough, but the white babies are. I don't know. Who am I? Who am I? But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Not a lick of policy. No policy. Just reproductive freedom. All right, cool. Meet your man Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim looks like a creep. You're talking about fact checking. Here they go, talking about Project 2025, Donald Trump, JD Vance. Cool. All right, but still no policies. All right, let's pull up Trump's website. Platform. What you stand on, Trump? Sealing the border, carrying out the largest deportation or operation in American history, After the borders are, Kamala let all these people in inflation, make America affordable again, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far, stop outsourcing. I'm with that. Large tax cuts. I don't want no taxes. Defend our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech. Yes, that is a main one. Freedom of religion and the right and keep the bear arms. I love my Second Amendment, man. Carry your gun. Prevent World War III. I'm vibing with it. In the weaponization of the government against the American people. Yep. Yeah. So a lot of stuff. As you can see, keep men out of women's sports. That's a big one. So as you can see, we're gonna stop sharing. Let's go back. This is gonna live on, and I don't care if anybody watches this, but if one person watches this and receives edification from it, all glory to God. Um, my goal is for people, for for all people, to receive some type of edification and some type of knowledge from this. Yeah. So we're about to get into it real soon. So yeah, we got this. We got this going. I think the same rules from the previous debate with Biden. Um, I believe. Oh, no audience either. Ooh, this is wild. This is gonna be interesting. But what I will say is, uh, for how I feel about this, uh, I would want to align how I vote with my faith and how I want to see the world. Trump, there, boy. Here comes the pettiness. My main man, Trump, petty. That was wild. Facts.
So I was raised as a middle class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing. And the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time.
But you're telling people they delete kids.
Can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children.
Go Jacks! Even though we lost,
one of them is
we getting the Browns back this weekend.
My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses.
Why did Trump? Man, Trump looks so petty.
Startups, small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy.
Why he got that scowl on his?
This plan is to do what he has done,
Why, bro?
To provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion for America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you.
But you know what though? I don't understand what is the.
Economists have said that
what is necessarily the always the kickback of always talking about billionaires not paying their fair share. But my biggest argument, these people like Kamala has never worked outside of government.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because it was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places they've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster in some countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums.
Facts.
And they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by...
And let me explain what black jobs means. Black jobs means that they are importing people from other countries and they are coming over here and taking the jobs of black Americans.
They're taking over the towns, they're taking over buildings, they're going in violently. These are the people...
Colorado, Venezuelan gangs, taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, in Aurora, Colorado. That is an invasion.
I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst.
Didn't I say that they were going to deflect though?
The worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since...
It's deflecting. She's not answering the question. He's talking about like he mentioned the economy, and she's blaming him for January 6th and COVID.
What I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you on this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old name calling. What you're going to
oh my gosh. Name calling.
Project 2025.
Deflection.
The president intends on implementing if he were elected to...
Deflecting.
I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
Thank you.
That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before.
But my question is to people who are awfully afraid of Trump, or what do you have to lose? And was it so bad the first time to where it scared you away from not even considering the other side of Trump, or anybody else, more so Trump? That's what I don't understand. And so that's something I just truly don't get, because people are saying anybody but Trump, but was it that bad the first time? When the economy was doing really well.
Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel
But both of y'all have been spending.
Described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation.
The Republicans and the Democrats both been spending. So what does it matter?
You just have to look at
both of y'all are guilty of it.
where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
This deflection after deflection.
I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top
It is
professors,
deflection after deflection. It's always, hey, well, Trump's the bad guy.
It's a plan that's gonna
They cannot do anything other than blame Trump.
It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
Oh my gosh.
I do want to drill down on something we both brought up. The vice president brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for.
Is Trump high? Why his eyes so red? You see his eyes? He looks suited. Trump took that Amendment 3 personal.
As you know, many economists say that tariffs at that level.
Trump may be tired. Who knows? Trump, you got some Vaseline, dog.
Harris has argued it'll be higher prices.
Look at his eyes.
Clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I
America
charge
first.
the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And you know,
America first, dog.
They should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time.
Just keep your policy.
People want to buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything
Cheese
else.
high.
The people of our
$5-6 for cheese.
absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at the poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response. You heard what the president said there because the Biden
Hey,
administration.
prices was cheaper when Trump was in office, dog. That's a fact.
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America.
But you got a deficit too.
You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military. Basically sold out China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point.
Oh
when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
But it's just you the same people that said that COVID started from a wet market or whatever it was.
Philosophies like they have and policies like
And then you have Fauci. That was the only thing Trump did wrong in that whole thing. Trump should have kept the economy open, and Trump should have fired Fauci. Same get her back. Trump trolling, man.
She's a Marxist. Everybody knows.
Facts. Her dad was a Marxist.
Is a Marxist
Yes.
professor in economics, and
Yes.
taught her well. But when you look at what
That's a
she's
fact.
done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly,
Her San Francisco, her hood.
there is, I believe, 21 million.
Look at San
people,
Francisco
not the
now.
15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State, Oregon, and just look at what they're doing to our country. They're
Facts.
criminals. Many of these people coming
People in
here,
Chicago,
and that's bad for our economy.
people in Chicago getting their jobs taken by Venezuelan gangs. It's gonna be a gang war in Chicago eventually. Get out of there.
And she has
Sanctuary city.
our country with policy that's insane.
Facts.
Almost policy that you say they have to hate our country. President Trump.
My issue with immigrants is when they come here, they don't assimilate to our American culture. They don't try to learn English. They try to just go out and about and just do whatever they want, like it's their country. Like no, there are rules and regulations here. You should learn our laws. You should learn our principles. You should learn English. You should learn all these things because when you go to their country or whatnot, they expect you to adapt to their policies and their culture.
Said he would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why
keep the kids, man. Stop deleting babies.
The plan is, as you know, the vote is.
God says, "Thou shalt not murder." Simple. Thou shalt not kill. Very simple. Very simple. Abort. Well, I'm sorry. Deletion of children is murder.
And we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that.
In Colorado, you can delete a baby all the way up to 9 months.
So radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country.
Black people have dealt with deletion of children the most.
Abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine.
Radical.
He also says
Black people have dealt with have had the highest deletion of babies, even over 12 and 13% of the population. That is a fact. Go look at that up for yourself on government or whatever it's called .org. That is a fact. Black people should not support. Should not support this. No person should support it. Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist and she was a avowed racist, and she said that the black race did not deserve to live. She wanted to exterminate us. That's a fact. Trump sent it back to the states through the Supreme Court.
For 52 years.
Facts.
Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government.
Right. Since when did it become a federal right to get delete a baby?
Great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
there is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born? Not vice president.
Oh my God. Really? See how biased this is? Oh my gosh. This is so biased, man.
Let's understand how we got here.
So you fact check Trump, so called, but then you don't when it comes down to Harris or whatnot. Nah, you ain't gonna say that. Come on, man.
And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand.
Trump has said several times he does not support a ban for does not support abortion for up to with exceptions for rape and incest. That is a lie. What she just told.
Government and Donald Trump
She's lying.
certainly should with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about
Steph Curry is supporting this.
pregnant women,
Fake a nominal Christian.
pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot.
Those are outlier incidents, bro.
Her husband didn't want that.
Most deletion of children does not occur like that.
Pregnancy to term,
It's because it's over like 70-something% that when women have these procedures that women are not with the children's father. They are not with the child's father, and they do not want to get in front of their career. Stop the cap. Oh, here she go with this Project 2025 stuff.
A monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people.
But isn't that what the Democrats do with big government all the time?
In particular, the freedom to make decisions about one's own body should not be made by the government.
Thank you.
This is ridiculous.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no
Thank
reason
you.
to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Veto on the national abortion ban.
Well, I won't have to because, again, and two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated.
And if people fall for that hook, line, and sinker, man. Still ain't get student loans terminated.
Of course, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. Got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So
You won't get student loans overturned. That's a fact.
Taunted with this whole thing about fair, that would have been part of the reason they lost to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free, but they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. in all fairness. J.D. And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and other people that had loans.
They gaslit people to think they can do that.
So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful. Let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Yeah, student loans ain't getting overturned, man. They're not getting terminated. That's a fact, bro.
Restrictions on women's rights to abortion.
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for.
Let's see. Let's fact check. It's
insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion ban. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatment. What is happening in our country? Working people, working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable.
All right, let's look this up. Let's look this up. All right. Let's fact check.
And that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot in red and blue states votes, the people of America have voted for freedom.
All right.
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been
6 weeks, South Carolina and Georgia.
Which is sterilization.
12 weeks, North
I
Carolina.
have been a leader.
15 weeks, Arizona, Florida. 18 weeks, Utah. 22 weeks, Iowa, Kansas, Ohio, Wisconsin.
I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask.
No limit in DC. No limit.
Ninth month, seventh month.
Virginia is the only state that prohibits in the third trimester, which starts around 25 weeks.
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's
in Colorado.
Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked.
Colorado, deletion of kids is one of 7 states without any term restrictions as to when a pregnancy can be terminated.
President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions.
Colorado. So you can delete a child up into at any point.
6 months before the
Sick. Sick.
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
So why you not stopping? Why you not stopping the illegals coming through?
United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate.
Colorado, no limit on pregnancy stage. Parental involvement required for age of 17 or younger, but no waiting period. Good gosh.
Overtime trying to do their job.
Woo!
It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
My issue with this, she's blaming Trump for every single issue.
People of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. That is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear me talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first. And I pledge to you that I will.
Let's cap.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask you, why did you...
Bro, come on, bro.
Successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on board.
First, let me respond to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. And the people that do go, she's busing them in and paying them.
No.
And then
No.
in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We're the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Eating dogs and cats. Say the cats.
Of the people that live there.
Yep. That's a fact.
And it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase. Make America great again. She's destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success.
Modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
Steroids.
I just want to clarify here, you bring up Springfield, Ohio, and injured or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
Oh my gosh! Come on, man, look at this dude. This dude's biased.
So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager. I'm not taking this from the people on television saying that Trump was eaten by the people that went there.
again, Springfield City Manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you heard.
Talk about extreme.
Here she go with that ugly laugh.
I think one of the reasons why in this election,
That's your,
I actually have the endorsement of 200
That's your aunt, right?
Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, and John McCain.
Man, more swamp
including
creatures,
the
man.
endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and
Swamp
Congress
creature.
member. If you want to really know
Is it raining outside still?
the inside track on who the former president is, if you didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former secretary of defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear on this election.
President Trump will give you a quick minute to respond.
Yeah. Thank you. Because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people who's were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper, he was no good, I fired him, so he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me they can write books, with nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy, look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists, they have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted
The
to talk
orange
about
man,
earlier.
funny,
So
man.
your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country.
Man, get them out of here, man.
National Guard, you say
Get them out of Chicago, New York, California.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
It is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers.
Venezuelan gangs.
And now in the United States,
Venezuela got the lowest crime murder rate in.
countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. You know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down. You know why? Because they're taking their criminals off the street.
Send them all here.
Giving them to her to put into our country. And
They transporting boats.
history for them to allow, and I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down. All over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof, despite their fraudulent statements that they made. Crime in this country is through the roof, and we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And
Migrant crime.
that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
Excuse me, the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud. Just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
Facts. It was bounce back jobs. People people getting their jobs back, and people got to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. Hey man, free that boy.
Security crime, economic crime, election interference has been found live, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be
Free that boy ASAP, man.
where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, if this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race.
Migrant crime.
That we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we
By giving what, $25,000? All right, let's do simple economics, kids. Let's do simple economics. All right, so what happens when you give everybody $25,000? Yo, what's good? What's up? $25,000 for free. What happened? Let's rewind to 4 years ago when COVID kicked off. Oh, what happened? You could buy less stuff with it now because you print money, inflation. You keep printing money with nothing to back it up, and now inflation goes through the roof. So Kamala's good deed of wanting to give $25,000 to everybody, the housing market in turn is just going to pass that cost over to home buyers and whatnot, and home prices are going to go up even further.
A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it.
That is ridiculous. For someone to say, "Hey, I'm going to give you money as a handout," you not work for it, and you have too much money going around the economy for everybody to get the same $25,000 is ridiculous. It's not going to work. Universal basic income does not work. All this stuff, handouts do not work. They do not incentivize people to work hard.
Terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now that.
So big bad Trump supposed to scare everybody. That's cap. That's cap. That is cap.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat.
They're weaponizing the judicial system.
Russia investigation that went nowhere.
Bro, this dude is bro. Whoever this dude is or whatnot, these two bro, they clearly biased.
Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of it, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that
She sued Obama. She sued the Obama administration for fracking.
Sources of energy, so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up
That's cap.
raised by a hardworking mother who
That washes collard greens in the bathtub. Nasty.
home when I was a teenager. The values I bring
That ain't black, dog.
$400 million on a silver platter and then file bankruptcy 6 times is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to...
She sued the Obama administration for fracking when she was a senator in Cali or whatever she was. She sued the Obama administration. Now she's talking about she doesn't want to ban fracking. She lying, bro. She lying. This is the same lady that said that she was smoking weed to Tupac or whatnot. Tupac ain't released an album until the 90s. She graduated in 88, 89 or whatever it was from Howard. Cap artist. Lying, bro. She lying, bro. Straight cap.
And not beating people down.
Bro. I'm trying to be nice, man, but come like she does not care about families, because the same family that she said she cared about or whatnot, she cares about families. She was sleeping with Willie Brown, the mayor of San Francisco during the time. She was sleeping with him and drove the wife crazy. Breaking up happy homes. Oh, but meanwhile,
she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody.
Meanwhile, it's okay.
They're all laughing at it.
Trump has done wrong too, plenty wrong. So I don't want to hear when people, oh, you're not getting no Trump.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. You don't mind, please.
Bro, she kept.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis.
Facts.
She went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do. Tampon
Tim let Minnesota burn down after the George Floyd joint. After that went down 4 years ago.
And she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing, so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling.
Not saying that Trump is by no means a perfect man. Trump is by no means a perfect man. But at least Trump will at least tell you how he feels about a certain situation. I can live with that.
You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400.
I can live with that. I can't live with the snake I can't see, with the knife I can't see.
We have an election in just 56 days, and I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis.
Man, I'm about to get off here soon, man.
On January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered peacefully and patriotically.
Thank you.
During my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed.
Oh yeah, bro. You know ain't no pressure. We had to get this on wax, at least for the day. Cause this is wild, bro. This is. I have this conversation with older black people all the time. Older black people, men and women. And I think the issue with with a lot of a lot of these previous generations is that uh, the Democratic Party is not the same Democratic Party. The Democratic Party now is not the same Democratic Party from 20 or 30 years ago. It's not. The reason why I say that is because before you could possibly argue that the Democratic Party was the party for a party of the people, hard workers. Even Trump was a Democrat before. Trump was a Democrat. Now, now the Republicans, not saying that they are fully the party of people, the working people, but what I will say is that they have a much easier time uh, adapting or drawing in people who are want to be left alone, who want small government, who do not want everyday life to be bogged down with foolishness. Inserting tampons into boys' bathrooms because of a small percentage of a population that wants this is radical. Um, Pushing gender ideology onto small children where they can attack your children and try to confuse them sexually when they should not be talked about sex or anything by any person other than their parents when they reach that age is ridiculous. Um, Forcing government into every facet of life is a problem. People should be able to make decisions for oneself and should be able to decide what they want to do naturally within the laws of the land. But understanding the Democrats playbook, we have to see now that they're slowly but and I feel like they started under Obama or maybe even under Clinton, nonetheless, but slowly but surely creeping up more and more on the grasp of inserting government into everyday life, and that should not be the case. People have the right and the ability to make decisions for oneself, and that is the problem. Big government and more regulation does not work. Look at all these states on the West Coast. California, failed state. Oregon, failed state. Washington State, it's trending there. People in Washington State and California, they now have bills to where if you do not confirm your child's gender ideology or their sex change, wanting to change their gender, they can take your children. I will scream this till the cows come home. If my son or daughter comes up to me and tells me and say, "Daddy, I want to be a boy," or I'm a boy, I want to be a girl now. I'm like, "Do you have the equipment of a boy or a girl?" The answer is no. God made you to who you are. You are you are perfectly made. That's what you are. Naturally made. That's what you are. You are a boy. You are a girl. Simple as that. But they are inserting themselves. They want to be your God, and that is the problem. That is naturally the problem. Democrats, this is my biggest thing. What's up? The older black people do not take into consideration because they're thinking about racism. We grew up in a completely different generation of society now. Racism is not the biggest thing that is on the docket. Not saying that racism is not alive and well anymore, but I don't see many people out here walking around with Ku Klux Klan. Not saying that it exists or whatnot, with Klan outfits and white sheets. That does not scare me. You put no fear in my heart with that at all. I don't care about that. I care about how this world is going when my children and how it represents God first, and how my children are able to survive and be whoever they want to be in their lifetime. And that is why I vote the way that I vote. And it's not even it is not even just Republican. Like, you don't have to vote Republican. You can vote for whoever you want to, but get off the Democratic plantation. Nothing more, nothing less. Think for yourself. The Democrats have given us nothing. We owe them nothing. And that is my biggest problem with the previous generations, especially for Black people. They take our vote for granted, and we get nothing in return. They slap us in the face continuously. They did more for gay people, LGBT, illegals, Hispanics, Asians. Where do Black people get in on this? They just slap us in the face every time. And every 3 or 4 years, NAACP, they visit all the churches, all the mega churches. They visit all these places and whatnot, and they try to rally us up to go vote for them to keep these clowns in power. Nothing more, nothing less.
Our elections are bad, and a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't.
Illegal immigrants, they're importing votes.
And these people are trying.
They're importing votes.
And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch
these
pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost my whisper. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this.
This white dude is very biased. The Black lady is very biased too. This is a terrible look for ABC.
System where a person in an election doesn't have standing, the president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost.
I've been saying this for the longest, bro. I've been saying this for the longest. Democrats walk away from the plantation, Black people. Walk away from the plantation. This is not slavery times anymore. You are free. Your rights come from God Almighty themselves. They do not come from any human being. God gave you the right to think for yourself and to be able to reason. Do not let anybody shame you into voting for the Democratic Party. Vote for something else. Think outside the box. Withhold your vote if you have to. You feel like that's what you need to do. Do something else, because this is not working. It ain't working. Look at the Northwest Jacksonville is in the north side of Jacksonville is in shambles. It looks horrible. Why do you think they are slowly pushing everybody from the north side? Now the north side of Jacksonville is going to be a food desert. Northwest Jacksonville, by Rains and Reebok, all they got is a Harvey's. Harvey's. Not shaming Harvey's or whatnot. But most people I know will not go to Harvey's if they had more opportunity. This is ridiculous. It's a problem. They keep the poor people poor. They do not want to empower you. They want to keep you on Section 8. They want to keep you in poverty, and they want to encourage you to delete your children. They want to encourage you to stay poor with a poor mindset. Yes, bro. I grew up on Harts Road, Dunn Avenue, Biscayne. It looks worse and worse every time I go over there. The north side of Jacksonville, the only nice part of north side is the new north side. The north side that I grew up on looks horrible. Back when I was growing up, you can walk down Dunn Avenue. You can you may find a baser or two, a junkie or two, or whatnot. But all in all, it was nowhere near as bad as it is now. Ride down Dunn Avenue in Jacksonville, 32218. It looks horrible. It looks like a place to where you don't recognize it anymore. And that is my problem, because these liberal white people, how Malcolm X told us, the white liberal is the worst one. The worst one. Because they come up, they want to be your friend. And they have ill intentions for you the entire time. That's how wicked these people are. But, hey, but you blame Big Bad Trump for all Republicans for all your problems. The only way that we're able to solve this issue is to turn back to God. 1. 2, get off the plantation. Simple as that. Simple as that. Until then, we'll keep living in impoverished situations.
Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago,
Facts.
if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got
Facts. No votes. And that's the worst part. She didn't get a single vote. How don't you get a single vote? How don't you get a single vote? It was a coup.
He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes.
Didn't get a vote.
When she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed.
Didn't get a single vote.
I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because I think we're gonna.
Didn't get a single vote. This is how treacherous the Democratic Party is. The constituents didn't get the vote. Not one bit. Did not get the vote. But I called it. I called this a while ago. They were going to import a new voter base. And this new voter base is here to support Kamala. Because this is what she does. She's from California, and that's what they do. The worst state in the union.
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7th, Hamas, a terrorist organization,
I'm gonna let her say this on the thing. I'm about to log off, man.
slaughtered 12
Because I done gave y'all too many gems for tonight.
many of them
And
people
like I said,
attending
I don't know how many people this is gonna reach, but I feel
and so
obligated as my duty
has a right to defend itself. We would.
to give people this information. Because at this point, it is up to you to what you want to do with it.
Innocent Palestinians have been
If you want to piss it away and whatnot, hey man, that's on you.
What we know is that this war
But
must
without a shadow of a doubt, I know I'm right. And I'm not saying this to brag or boast. I'm only saying this to edify first God. Second, or not to tell the we are obligated to tell the truth. And by no means will I say that the Democratic Party is a solution. It's a solution for all the people. They want to keep you poor.
But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you?
All right, man. Yeah, I've been on for like an hour, so I ain't gonna cover this whole thing because I already know who I'm gonna vote for. Hopefully, I gave enough information, to bring somebody, whoever sees this. God bless you. God loves you. I love you. People think that just because you have alternative opinions, opposed to other people. I don't hate. I did not hate anybody. October 24th. You know who I'm talking to. You know who you are. I see you on October 24th. My wife knows. She knows. October 24th. I'm gonna see you, cuz you gonna see me, and God gonna deal with you afterwards. But that's a side note. But I love you. God bless you. Be safe. Just think. God gave you a brain, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more you speak. God bless you. That's all I can say. I love y'all. Peace. Good night. Go Jaguars. Hopefully I'll see y'all at the game on Sunday. Peace.